I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education, here with another Teacher of the Year profile. We're speaking with Laura Bingham, who is a kindergarten teacher from the Twin Rivers Unified School District. She is one of two Teachers of the Year from Twin Rivers. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So tell us, where do you teach?
I teach in the North Natomas area. It's our farthest west school of the Twin Rivers Unified School District.
And tell me about your class. What is your population make up?
Our population is a very diverse mix of wonderfulness. Last year I had 9 different languages spoken as a first language in my class, and children come from diverse backgrounds, and it's just a wonderful experience to be there.
So let's talk about the number of students you get each year that either have TK or preschool.
Honestly, we have a very good mix. We have a TK on campus, so we have about 25 children that leave that TK program with ready skills to start learning. And we have a wonderful daycare preschool at our school site also, so we're getting a large population, but it overall is between 50 and 60% of our children come readily ready for kindergarten.
So what differences can you see in the students who have some kind of preschool or transitional kindergarten as opposed to those who don't have that opportunity?
The first thing that we notice is the lack of understanding of structure in a classroom and sharing and caring and working with other children. That's the biggest thing that the biggest thing that we see that could cause them difficulties in the classroom.
So when students come in having been exposed to all that and having those skills, then you can focus more on the learning part?
Correct.
Yeah.
With having the skills and structure that you've learned, being able to sit at a desk, being able to work with a partner, being able to hold a pencil correctly, you're already halfway through kindergarten, it seems like, and you've learned to read already. Mm-hmm. So those beginning TK and preschool skills are definitely a necessity for most of our kids. Actually, it's a necessity for all of our kids, but for most of the kids that come in with them, you notice the difference.
What are some of the foundational things that you really hope that parents work with their children on before they even come to your classroom?
Self-help skills, teaching how to take care of your own needs, being able to be responsible for yourself in an environment, knowing what safety is. Also working on basic skills like colors, shapes, what a conversation looks like with your child, what it sounds like with your child, having a child being able to respond, working on complete sentence structure when speaking. And it doesn't matter if their first language is Spanish or Urdu. What matters is that the child is feeling respected and is able to complete a conversation with you. And that sets a wonderful opportunity up for them to be able to learn English and to be able to communicate their needs and have great academic success.
So it's basically basic social skills, a lot of it.
It's basic social skills. Yes, absolutely. Basic social skills.
So how long have you been a teacher?
28 years.
28 years. And always kindergarten or different levels?
I've actually taught from preschool all the way through 9th grade. I did a 9th grade basic biology, and I've worked all throughout the grade levels.
So what attracts you to kindergarten?
My love of learning and the spark that kindergartners have when they walk in the door, and the fact that I can see a child walk in that is not able to hold a pencil, and they leave my class learning to read. I have provided with them an opportunity to have their basics, the basic foundation, and I feel that that is what I'm best at, is teaching those foundational skills.
So you've taught a number of different levels over a number of different years.
Yes.
What are some of the big changes you've seen in education since your start?
Technology piece, the technology piece that is a necessity in life, that's a big component, and being able to integrate that into the curriculum in a supportive manner, not just a play-like manner. Children who are born in a single family. When I first started, there was multiple children in families, and now I see a lot more children who are a single child, and the skills that they have with conversation and sharing and play is a struggle for them at times.
So someone might ask, well, how do you introduce technology into a classroom with 5 and 6-year-olds? What explain the technology that you use and how a kindergarten teacher would use it?
Different schools use different technology. In my class, we actually have a little corner that is our computer corner. So we actually have integrated curriculum standard-based programs, such as it's called a math program that's all standards-based. It's a play game that reviews standards, so children are introduced to the mouse or the pad. Other schools use iPads. We have smart boards where children are able to integrate with the lesson and move, font or text or circle things or move pieces on the board. So there's lots of different pieces. Other teachers use clickers where children can respond, so every child is actively participating. There's lots of different ways to use technology.
Do you find, though, that students now have a lot more technological knowledge than you would expect?
Yes.
At that young of an age?
A lot of it is related to gameplay. A lot of it is related to working with their parents' phones or with an iPad. To teach a structure of how to play a game that's not a game that they can just pass forward, but it's a a standards-based game. That's a different environment, a different teaching environment for them to have that structure to learn how to use the materials in a different way.
You mentioned standards-based. What are the standards that kindergarten students are expected to master now, and how has that changed over the years, the expectations of the younger students?
We talk about that as kindergarten teachers in general, how the standards have actually pushed academic skills and requirements down farther than they used to be. And what I mean by that is when I taught first grade many years ago, I only taught 100 words. We are now integrating into our program over 75 high frequency words for them to learn. So our expectations are actually higher, but children are actually performing to those high levels. They're actually able to do that. So it's wonderful to see that the standards may have changed, but for us, it's been in a positive way. Expectations are higher, children are successful.
Imagine that, raise the bar and they reach it.
Raise the bar, that's
Yeah.
right. They are succeeding.
Yeah. So how important is it then with all these changes that you get professional development that you need so that you can keep up?
Well, one thing that is different than what has been in the past, and I have to give just all different people credit for this, is that they are differentiating development in a lot of different areas. One is you can choose what you'd like to learn more, such as if you're like me, you want to learn more on how to use technology in your classroom. There's opportunities for that, which wasn't that way before. There's opportunities to learn about the new standards in science, to do some STEM training. So opportunities for professional development are there. Sometimes kindergarten gets left out just a little bit because we are a different beast. And so now we're actually seeing leveled, appropriate professional development for almost every single level across the board. So that's very helpful to teachers.
And that's something you have to take advantage of at every opportunity.
Correct. Yeah. Yep, absolutely, I agree with you.
So what does it mean for you to be named as a Teacher of the Year?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I think it means that I am being acknowledged by my peers for things that they see as being successful in the classroom. And to me, that's like the biggest applause that you could get. I've always been able to work with families, and families have always appreciated my work. In fact, many families have chosen me as their second child or their third child's kindergarten teacher, so that's always been quite an honor. But to also have my peers and my district say, you're really successful, that's just like a star, a gold star that I've received. It's wonderful.
Now, did you have, as a child, did you have a teacher or two that you really looked up to?
I actually did. My kindergarten teacher was named Mrs. Williamson.
You still remember her
I
name?
absolutely remember her. It was her year before she retired, and as she exited, she gave me her ivy plant that had been growing in the classroom, and my mother proudly displayed that in our house for many years. So absolutely, absolutely. She was a wonderful, patient woman. So.
And she was your inspiration to being a teacher, or do you think about her a lot?
She was one of my inspirations. Yeah. My aunt was a teacher for over 30 years in Placer Unified, and she was my favorite aunt. So that was.
You can say that out loud? She's your
I
favorite?
can say it out loud. She was my favorite aunt.
So what would you say to those young people who are considering teaching as a career, or even people who are as a second career?
Teaching in California, in the Sacramento Valley, is such a wonderful, awesome experience. We have a diverse environment with children that come from multiple backgrounds, with languages and experiences, that it's like you're on an adventure for me every day because I learn new things. So teaching is just such a nice way to fulfill, if you're like me, to fill this need to help people, to provide service, to provide support, and just to love and get to know other people. So teaching is just an awesome experience for that.
Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
We've been speaking with Laura Bingham, who is one of 2 Teachers of the Year for the Twin Rivers Unified School District. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.